Okay, we are talking about Doctopus. Now, Doctopus is something that you have to add on, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But I'm also going to show you how helpful it is to to have Doctopus or to use it when you're grading your writing. It just kind of makes things a lot easier to go through, and especially if you've got a large class, it just kind of helps with that process. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a rubric. Now, you can, if you have your own rubric, then you just input it into Sheets. If you have a rubric that you use already with some curriculum, then what I just do is I just add it right here, which is what I've done. We use iReady curriculum, and so I've literally just taken their rubric and put it in here because that's what I grade the students off of. So you want to create your rubric first. So once you've done that, which I've already done it. So once you've done that, then you're set to go save it as whatever rubric it is. If it's informational, narrative, whatever that rubric is going to be, then you just save it like that. So I wanted to talk about that first. So now let's go back to Sheets, and I'm going to show you how to attach and create your rubric. So I'm going to start with a blank spreadsheet. And I'm going to title this spreadsheet, we're just going to do one of my old assignments, which is the SALT informational. That's the essay that I'm going to be grading. So when you look at your documents and in your Google Docs or in your sheets, you know what it is that you're looking at. So now from there, it's time to add and use my tools. So I already have Doctopus added on there, but if you don't have it, then you just click on Get Add-ons, and it's going to show up right here. It's free. You just click on it and it'll download and add it to add it to your add-ons when you look at your Google document. So I already have it here. If you don't have it, you just click on Add an add-on and you click on Doctopus. Now, since I already have it, I'm going to click on Doctopus and I'm going to click on Launch. So we have to wait and pause here while it gets all its magic together. All right, so now that it's here, I'm going to ingest a Google Classroom assignment. Now, again, Google Classroom is just so helpful and makes things a lot easier to manage. So I'm had my students turn in their essay through Google using a Google Doc, and that's how they turned it in. So I'm going to ingest a classroom assignment. Then it's going to ask me which class I want to do. So I want to do this one. So if you are a high school teacher or junior high teacher, you can pick your periods, whatever it is that you need to do. Then from there, you select the assignment that it is that you want to ingest. So again, I was doing the SALT informational. I have to find it here. It's like way at the bottom or somewhere around here. Let's see here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So there's that assignment. And so sometimes it takes a little bit like to load everything up, but it is worth it once it's done. So you just have to be patient while it does its thing. And then one of the questions that they're going to ask you is if you want to see even assignments that haven't been turned in. And I always click yes because sometimes I always have those kids who they think they turned it in, but they didn't turn it in. And all Doctopus will show me are the kids who actually did turn it in. So this is it's a nice way to make sure I've got everybody's assignments, even if they haven't turned it in yet. All right, so found 24 turned in files and there are 3 not turned in. So see, there's where you can click on files that are only turned in. I never click on it because I just want to make sure that I get everybody's assignment. Then you click on ingest assignment and it's going to come up down here. Now here's the magic part about this is that in just a second here, it's going to allow me to pick the rubric. And that's where I said you want to make sure that you have your rubric already written up. And plus, it might just kind of be nice to have your rubric waiting there no matter what. So that way you can just click on it whichever rubric you need whenever you want it instead of having to retype it all the time. And so here are all my students, and here are all of their assignments right here. And it lets me know who's turned it in and who hasn't turned it in. Then from here, this is where you're going to attach your rubric. So attach rubric, it's really just attach your rubric, but Google adds Google somewhere somehow. So I'm going to attach my rubric. It's going to load them up. Here's my informational rubric right here. This is the one I want to use. Now, these are all your options right here. You can make your rubric viewable to students, which I always do. I want them to see their grades, allow self or peer assessment, and send email notification to students. So I'm going to attach this rubric. And again, it's creating the magic. So on every single assignment on here, so see how it's saying tagging student file? On every single assignment, the rubric is showing up. So if you were to print out every assignment, that rubric is already attached. If they're looking at it on their Google account, that rubric is attached. They can see everything. And it makes it nice too for parents, because parents can also see the rubric if they have access to that Google account. So just kind of making your life easier. You can also add a co-teacher too if you need to. You can share your rubric, and it's letting my students know, like, hey, Mrs. Soule has attached a rubric. Okay, so you have all of your information here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. But real fast, you can refresh these. Like, let's just say students have edited their paper, you can refresh it and it's going to reload it. If you had clicked on files only turned in, then you can look for new submissions. So kids who returned it in or haven't turned it in, you told them to turn in, you can do that. You can add your co-teacher right here. But now I'm going to show you why Rubric makes it so easy. So we're going to click on this document right here. We're going to go to the link. Okay, so now this is where it becomes really easy. You got your rubric right here. So I can read this article, and as I'm reading it, I can see like, oh, good, she did a 4 here. And as I keep reading it, like, oh, her evidence was okay. Organization, pretty good. Language, good. Conventions, did a great job. And look, I have that score all right here. And then I can add the comments at the bottom. Great job. Keep it up. I mean, whatever it is that you want to add. And then I can click submit. Now, once this happens, I'll show you, this is all done. And at the bottom, here's the rubric. So they can see exactly what it is that they've scored on there. Now, I've already graded it, so this is like the old grade. But you can see here are my comments. I have the score right here because I just added up the numbers. I can add their score right here. I send it to them, and then they have all that information right there. It even timestamps it, so you can see when the student got their grade and when you graded it. So again, it just makes it real easy for you. And so I find it when I'm going through all of my students, I can just click, 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 and I have that score. Just makes it a lot easier. I can go through that rubric and just, instead of having to constantly look back, I can click on whatever score it is. I can click on that rubric, and it just makes it a little bit easier, and I can add my comments. I always add the score on the side here because it doesn't tally it up and tell you what that score is. you kind of have to do it yourself. So I always add their score in the comments so that way they can see, and I let them know their percentage and all that information there. So going back to our Google Sheets, again, all of your students are right here. Here's all their information. And then it even puts down their score here. So when you print it out, you can see what their score was. If you print out this particular document, you can see what it is. But again, it automatically attaches it to their document. Parents can see it, they can see it, you can see it, and I think it just makes grading writing a little bit easier. So this was a little bit longer video, mostly because we were waiting a long time for everything to load up, but I hope you enjoy it and I hope it helps.